back. Today we're going to talk a bit about CL, or Caseous lymphadenitis. Lymphadenitis. I think that's how you pronounce that. Lymphadenitis. It's quite the mouthful. We're also going to be continually swatting flies because my barn has to be like the most popular fly hangout in the area. Yay! Anyhow, this is a bacterial disease. It is also a zoonotic disease, meaning that it's transmissible from sheep to goats to humans to horses, dogs, cattle, alpacas, llamas, and buffalo even, just for fun. And there's probably more animals that wasn't on the list. When in humans, and actually, basically, I would imagine anything that catches this stuff, your symptoms are going to be localized skin irritations or infections, regional lymph node swelling. There's going to be painful abscesses. You're going to also have flu-like symptoms like fever, tiredness, and body aches. It's just a full, well-rounded disease. Doesn't it sound like fun? A lot of cases are from ag and slaughterhouse workers, the people that deal with these animals on a regular basis. This disease is widespread in goats. In Quebec, they did a little study and tested 152 dairy and meat goats that were found dead or euthanized on farms. CL abscesses were found in 24.3%, or 37 out of 152 goats were found to have these abscesses on them. It is not curable. When they get it, they have it for life. You either need to cull or isolate these animals. Then there's strict sanitization that needs to happen. Infected animals can live a mostly normal life of several years if the infection stays on the surface. If it internalizes, then they are going to die much quicker. I can't imagine it would be a very fun death. I mean, having flu all your life and abscesses all the time kind of sound sucky. Let's see, carcasses with internal abscesses are usually just tossed out. They are not going to accept them and continue them down the food chain to where we're going to eat this stuff. Although there are theorists that say that if you cut out the bad parts of the meat, then it'll be fine. Honestly, I'm not going to risk that at all. Like, at all. I don't want to eat it. I don't want to serve that to anybody who's coming over to my house. I don't want strangers to eat it. So no, it's not okay to me. If you want to do it, fine. I wouldn't even feed it to the cats and dogs. Cats were not on the list to get CL, but I can't see why they wouldn't. If anything from horses to dogs get this stuff. Let's see. Disinfecting, if you've decided to keep this infected animal or animals, you need to isolate them from the rest of your animals so the rest of them don't get sick. You need to start by removing all the debris, all the bedding. You probably want to take this time and get the cobwebs out of your barn too, because cobwebs are flammable if you did not know this either. Clean your barn thoroughly. You either need to burn everything that you've brought out or very securely bag this stuff up and dispose of it. Then, after that, you need to scrub all of the surfaces. Clean it. The walls, the floors, the gates, feed troughs, with some sort of soap or detergent and hot water. You need to lift up all this dirt. It likes to hide in little nooks and crannies and everything. You got little pockets of dirt. You need to get under there and get that dirt out so your disinfectant stage can take effect. And then after you scrub everything and rinse it, you need to apply a disinfectant. You can spray or scrub this on, whatever you can do or want to do. Use a 1 part bleach to 10 parts of water, or you can use a 1% chlorhexidine solution. Then you need to keep this wet. You need to have it all wet for 10 to 15 minutes, and I would probably go the duration, honestly. I would maybe even push it to 20 minutes to half an hour. Just get it in there. I wouldn't mess with this stuff. So after you've got this 15 to 20 minutes wet, then you can let it air dry. You need to sanitize all your tools. Any instruments that you use that you lance these abscesses or whatever, sanitize those as well. Then the most special part is you need to manage the runoff. You have scrubbed this out and rinsed it. Where did that go? Into your dirt. And I really don't know how you're supposed to manage it, but that was in the instructions on how to disinfect the barn, because you do need to manage your runoff. I'm not exactly sure what you would do unless you somehow contain the water when you're rinsing after you have scrubbed, and like mop it up or absorb it up or something and bag this and either burn it or send it down the road as well with the bedding. I'm not sure, because if you just let it run off and you don't already have CL in your dirt, then you've got CL in your dirt if you let that stuff go down out the runs and into the dirt. So I don't know, maybe that's what you need to do, but I don't know. Honestly, it sounds like a lot of work. I would just simply not treat, and I would cull that animal. Send it down the road to some auction or whatever if it hasn't internalized yet. It could go into slaughter at that point still. Or just off it and burn the carcass too, I would think, unless you could dig a hole plenty deep, but then you're still with an abscess ready to burst in your dirt. I would probably honestly just burn it or something like that. This stuff can stay in the soil for months or even years. It likes little nook and crannies that your disinfectant didn't get into, and it will stay until it is picked up by another animal. It is transmissible by the pus. So when they're not showing an abscess, they can be out with the flock. When that abscess is coming out, you need to lance it, and you need to stay on top of this stuff. And then you need to go through the whole disinfection thing again, and so on and so forth, until that animal kicks the bucket because of this stuff. So you got to really ask yourself, are you going to keep up with that? You have to do that every time you have an abscess that you've opened, because you do not want to risk that getting on the rest of your animals. Then you're going to have a whole flock of this stuff. Again, you need to ask people if they test. If they don't, walk away. If they have an animal that you can't live without, ask them to test that animal, and if it passes, you'll pay for the test. It's like $25 to send it off to Waddell to get. There's an ascension fee and then there's test fee, and it should be. Actually, I think the last time they did raise their prices, it might be $30 or $35 per. Well, there's the ascension fee, which is $15, and then you have the fee on top of that per animal. So it's going to be, so if you have one animal that you want to test, it's probably like $30, $35, I guess now. If you have more, you're going to have to figure out how much it costs to have each animal tested. And when I test sheep, I ask for an ovine biosecurity screening that tests for CL, Johne's, OPP, and I ask to have these rams tested for B. ovis because that's a venereal disease, and I don't want that either. So yeah, it's super easy. Learn to take the blood test and fill out the forms and send it off yourself. Super easy. I've been doing it for years. I don't even like needles, but I can draw blood on them and send it off and get the results back by myself. And I am excluding the vet's farm call, which could, I don't know what it would be out here, anywhere from $50 to $100 maybe. It could be more. I don't know, wherever you're at and what vets you have. And then him to sit there and test each animal. I'm sure he's going to add something on top of that. So it's just cheaper to do it by yourself, and you can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. It's not hard. I have ewe lambs I want to keep. I'm going to test them when they're 6 months old. So, and I'm probably going to pick a couple of the ewes out there just to do a selective test. Do a little quickie test on a couple of them just to keep up my records. So it's easy, guys. You can do this. I have faith in you.